Hi everybody, I'm Amy, and this video I'm going to walk you through how to forgive yourself, forgive others, and forgive yourself for anything you might have manifested that you think is unwanted, and why it's an important tool with 3 amazing phrases, which I'm just going to tell you right off the bat. For those of you who like to get quick tips and run out the door, that's totally fine. Those 3 phrases are, I am forgiven, I am forgivable, and I am forgiving. So if you want to stick around, I'll walk you through how to do it. And also, if you don't need to forgive yourself right now, or you don't need to forgive someone, please watch the video anyway, because this is a wonderful tool to have in your toolbox. Because let's face it, we're all human beings. We have the full range of emotions. I don't know about you, but I have had all the human emotions at some point in my life. I'm betting you have as well. And that includes feelings like guilt and blame and regret. And these 3 phrases can really help you alleviate those if you know how and when to use them. So like I said, my name is Amy. This is my channel. I teach people how to manifest. You can like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, share the video. I have an Instagram account. I post things I manifest on it, link down below. So for those of you who are in a space where you are blaming yourself or someone else or something else, this is a wonderful time to walk through this with me. For those of you who aren't in that space right now, this is a wonderful time to get these 3 phrases into your mental toolbox in case you ever run across these feelings again, because like I said, we're all human. It happens. So I use all 3 to start off with. So like if I notice I'm in a feeling of blame towards myself or towards something else, what I will do is I will catch myself. Because I have the tool in my toolbox, my subconscious knows to pull it up. Oh, she's having this feeling. Let's give her these tools. So at some point I'll be in a negative emotion. We'll use blame or guilt. We'll use guilt for a moment. So if, let's say I'm feeling guilty about something I've done or said or manifested. Then I will catch myself. So this is important to know. How to catch yourself is to actually have the tools. That's the first step. And then also to have your subconscious remind you. So just tell your subconscious, intend it, hey, whenever I have these feelings, pull these tools up for me. And it will, because that's what it does. And it's kind of really simple like that as well. It's not overly complicated. So when I remember to do it, when it pulls up, then I will suddenly be like, oh, I'm feeling this negative emotion. Okay. All right. I use all 3 phrases at first because I have found it really odd that sometimes I'll think I'm mad at someone else or I'm blaming something outside of myself, which there is nothing outside of yourself, but that's how we perceive it in that moment. So I'll feel like I'm blaming something outside of myself, and I'll think like, oh, I need to be forgiving. I'm going to be forgiving, right? But then the one that actually helps me release is I am forgivable or I am forgiven. So I have just learned, just say all 3 of them in a row for the sake of it to see which one actually releases it or if the combo of them will. This is what it looks like, okay? So for those of you who are in this kind of state already, if you can, take a moment and completely focus on this. If you can close your eyes, do that. If not, repeat out loud after me if you're walking or driving or something like that. Because repeating out loud will really help you to anchor it if you can. Okay, so I will feel the negative emotion of blame, guilt, regret, and I will put my hand over my heart. That's to help me focus my attention on what I'm doing here. And I will be like, I am forgiven. I am forgivable. I am forgiving. Now, often when I'm alone, I'll do that just in my head. If I'm feeling an intense emotion, I'll say it out loud as a way, because speaking out loud really helps you to hear it and gets into your subconscious a little differently as well. But I will typically say it in my head quietly most of the time. I'm just speaking out loud for you guys. And then I'll see if any of them release anything in me. And if they don't, I'll go through them again. So I give myself a couple minutes to do this. You deserve a couple minutes to release this, by the way. I am forgiven. I am forgivable. I am forgiving. So a couple different things will happen. Number one, the first thing that might happen is one of them will start to release the feeling. Then you can just repeat that one over and over again. So let's say it's I am forgiven. So then I would be like, I am forgiven. I am forgiven. I am forgiven. You can change how you're saying it a little bit to kind of hit home with it. You're looking to change a feeling here. Usually these feelings are in our chest for the most part, these types of feelings, usually. You're looking to release the feeling with your affirmation with this tool. So I'll either repeat the same one or I will go through all three of them until it starts to release. Now, the second thing that you can do that's really helpful is if you start repeating one of them, or it doesn't matter, whatever you're doing with it, you can pull up memories of times that match the one that you're repeating. So like, let's say you're saying, I am forgivable. You can start to pull up memories on purpose. If you ask for a memory, they will come to you. When was another time that I felt forgivable? And then you'll imagine someone forgiving you. Or you'll imagine someone being like, you didn't do anything wrong. You don't even need to be forgiven. Like, that type of thing. You can imagine times, you can pull up memories of when you were forgiving, when you forgave someone, or times when you felt forgiven, forgivable, forgiven. So again, these three phrases are super helpful for self-forgiveness, which is a form of self-love and self-care and releasing resistance. Triple threat, y'all. And then the other one, the other thing is forgiving things that you don't consider yourself because you perceive them as outside of you, which would be another person, circumstances, your past, something like that, right? Or like not your past as in internally, but your past as in things that happened to you before you learned about manifesting or something like that. So anyway, I love these three phrases. Please use them whenever you want. If you are in a space where you're having a negative emotion, of guilt, regret, or blame, I really truly just want you to run through all three of them. Take 2 minutes, 3 minutes, set a timer on your phone, close your eyes, and focus. Give it your full attention. You deserve it. You deserve to release this emotion. And then also, if you are not feeling a negative emotion while you're watching this video, just start to put it into your mental practice. Tell your subconscious, hey, if I ever have these emotions again, then pull this tool up for me so I know exactly what to do so I can run through it really quickly. Typically, if you run through it, you will release the feeling within 2 or 3 minutes. If you are not releasing the feeling within 2 or 3 minutes, you may want to sit with the emotion and really be like, I'm not ready to do forgiveness. I'm not ready to do that yet. That's totally fine, and then come back to it later. I met one woman years ago, and she was someone who just was like a ship in the night past with me. I don't even remember her name. And we were working on a film set together, and we were stuck together for all afternoon, and she kept getting these phone calls from her ex-husband. And she said, I can't stand it. He did all these awful things to me. I worked, he didn't, and he, I believe, cheated on her and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, the way she described it to me was he sucked and she was great. And all of her friends and family, she's divorced from him, told her she needed to forgive him. And she's like, I can't forgive him. And I said, you're just not ready. Don't forgive him. You can't forgive him. You're just not ready. And she started crying. And she was like, you're the first person in 4 years that's told me that it's okay that I can't forgive him. Acceptance of not being able to forgive yourself or someone else yet is perfectly fine. That would be, if this technique isn't working, you may want to accept that you do feel bad, or you do feel slighted, or you do feel guilty, and accept that feeling first and then come back to the technique within a day or two. It was really interesting because she literally broke down in front of me. Just, you're the first person who's told me it's okay that I'm not ready to forgive him. She's like, I will one day. She's like, I know I will. But it was so much resistance for her to constantly be told he did the things that were wrong and you are the one who needs to forgive him. And she felt slighted by people even telling her that. So that was the feeling she needed to accept. Again, I never really saw her after that, so I don't know how it all turned out for her, but I can tell you the emotional release she experienced just from accepting that she wasn't ready to do it. She couldn't even forgive her family and friends for trying to put that on her. She needed to do it. It's interesting how acceptance can work. So if anytime you're manifesting something and you're struggling to do a technique, always just step back and accept where you are for the moment, and then come back to the technique, whether it's focus or releasing resistance or detaching or working on your beliefs. Sometimes acceptance of where you are is the most important thing. Now, other times you'll just do the technique, I'm forgiven, I'm forgivable, I'm forgiving, and it will just work immediately. So those are your two ways of dealing with it: acceptance and then the technique, or just the technique if you don't have to deal with acceptance because you're already in a state of acceptance and you don't realize it. So anyway, I hope this helps you guys. Self-forgiveness, forgive yourself. It's a wonderful technique. Again, those 3 phrases, just repeat them over and over again. Use it as much as you want, and yeah, realize that most people are really doing the best that they can. They really are. And you're doing the best that you can. And there's no reason for all of us to run around feeling guilt and blame and regret. So I hope this helps you guys. Happy manifesting. Have a very wonderful day.